The man suspected his wife of cheating. He knocked her to the ground, grabbed her hair, and threw her down the stairs. Watching her fall, he turned and left. Drew was utterly disappointed in her husband. When Drew woke up, she was at the hospital. The doctor told her the baby was lost. She completely broke down. Drew got up, looked out the window, then walked out of the hospital. This time, she was going to get revenge for herself. Back home, Drew drugged her husband with sleeping pills and called her mother.
फील्डिंग बहुत हो गई अम्मी, अब बैटिंग चालू.
She put on makeup and wore the red dress she had secretly bought. When her husband woke up, he saw Drew sitting across from him with a high heel, ready to play a game. Drew punished him the same way, but it didn't ease her anger. This man had caused her to lose her child forever. Her husband promised to divorce her and leave everything to Drew. He would leave by train that night and even promised to record a video, never to bother her again. What he didn't know was that Drew tampered with the video, making it his last will. Drew and her mother, with help from a neighbor, secretly carried him downstairs and threw him onto the tracks. They tied him up. When he woke up, he was confused. As the train approached, Drew suddenly realized that if he died because of this, she would never find peace in her life. The daughter tells her mother that she wants to get rid of her husband. The mother, after hearing this, agrees, knowing that her daughter, Drew, has been suffering from domestic abuse for a long time. At that moment, the mother gets a call from the police. The police summon Drew to the station. Drew thinks someone overheard what she said, but once she gets to the station, she finds out that the police are actually investigating her abuse. It turns out the neighbors had been hearing her getting beaten by her husband every day and quietly reported it to the police. Soon, her husband was arrested for domestic violence. The police tell Drew that if she presses charges, her husband could face 3 years in prison.
कंप्लेन करेगी साहब.
Her husband is furious. Before leaving, Drew says a simple goodbye to him. But then her husband's attitude changes. He knows Drew has always wanted a child, so he mimics holding a baby with his hands and says that after he gets out, they can have a baby together. Soft-hearted Drew falls for it and immediately drops the charges, trying to save the marriage. However, she doesn't notice the cold look in her husband's eyes. On the way back, her husband blames her mother for the events that unfolded. He starts mocking her and even becomes violent with her mother.
औरत पे हाथ छोड़ने वाले मर्द लोग को मालूम है ना क्या बोलते हैं? नामर्द.
In a fit of rage, he attacks her mother. But the mother, afraid of Drew being hurt again when she returns home, doesn't retaliate. Soon after, the husband stops drinking, and Drew's life seems to improve. She gets pregnant with a child. Everyone believes the husband has changed. Every month, she would save some money for the girls working at the brothel because she knew they couldn't work there forever. Gangubai called her family, but leaving home back then had deeply saddened her parents, and she herself regretted it a lot. Meanwhile, a real estate developer wanted to buy Gangubai's brothel at a high price. A man helped Gangubai temporarily drive the developer away, but the nearby school took the brothel to court. Residents in the community also started protesting outside the brothel, and the school refused to accept the children of the brothel workers. To fight for the rights of the people at the brothel, Gangubai invited a reporter and had their story published. The report quickly gained public attention, and the reporter helped Gangubai secure an opportunity to give a speech. On the day of the speech, many people came to the venue. Gangubai spoke from her heart.
हम ना मजहब पूछते हैं ना जात, काले से ज्यादा नहीं, गोरे से कम नहीं, अमीर हो या गरीब, सबका रेट एक. जब हम किसी से ये भेदभाव नहीं करते, तो हमसे ये भेदभाव क्यों? हम ही आपके समाज से बाहर क्यों?
After her speech, everyone applauded her. The speech caught the attention of an official who said they could arrange a meeting between Gangubai and the Prime Minister. Gangubai showcased her speaking skills and ultimately succeeded in moving the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister promised to establish a committee to discuss the rights of brothel workers. When she returned, Gangubai received a grand welcome and her portrait was hung up on the street. But for Gangubai, the greatest happiness was that through her hard work, she gave meaning and hope to a life that had once been bitter. This girl was sold to a brothel and forced to put on makeup.
ज़्यादा मुंह खोलने की जरूरत नहीं, खाली टांगे खोल देना.
One day, the madam brought a man into the girl's room. The girl was terrified and bit the man. The madam became angry and locked the girl up. She denied the girl water and food as punishment and beat her every day. The girl warned the madam that if she kept hitting her, she would end up with a dead body. A female colleague suggested that the madam call Gangubai. With no other choice, the madam agreed. When Gangubai got out of the car and walked down the street, everyone nearby bowed to her in respect. At the door, Gubai to persuade the girl to stay. Gangubai went straight to the girl's room. Seeing the girl's wrists locked in chains, she knew the girl had been trafficked. Gangubai poured the girl a glass of water, unlocked the chains, and asked who had tricked her into coming here. The girl said it was her boyfriend. Gangubai smiled, saying that the person who can deceive you the most is always the one you trust the most. Gangubai then told the girl about her own experience of being sold to a brothel by her boyfriend. Gangubai took out 2 candies and let the girl choose. One represented staying, and the other represented going home but was poisoned. The girl finally chose the candy that represented going home. Gangubai didn't persuade her, but she bought the girl from the madam. The madam was unwilling, but after Gangubai raised the price, she immediately took the girl away. The madam cursed at Gangubai. After bringing the girl back, Gangubai ordered someone to buy a ticket for the girl and send her home. One person asked Gangubai why she did this, and she replied, "To increase my prestige, I had to do this." Gangu pulled down the sari, and the gang leader across from him was instantly stunned. It's not because of her graceful figure, but because she has a long scar on her body. That scar was left by his henchman. The gang leader suddenly became serious, demanded compensation for her. This was as expected by Gangu. She had long known it was him, an unusual gang leader. The gang leader often holds reception events to listen to ordinary people's grievances. But what she wants is not just money. Before leaving, she gave the gang leader a protective knot, which represents the deepest friendship between Indian women and their brothers. The gang leader was moved. He immediately accepted Gangu as his sworn sister, sending someone to protect her 24 hours a day. Gangu never flaunted this protection. She is waiting for an opportunity.
गंगू पठान आया है.
Looking at Sheila's greedy face, Gangu interrupts sister's argument.
4 गुना दाम मांग.
देने के लिए तैयार है.
After Sheila left, she told her sisters to let her protector contact the gang leader, and she walked into the room again. The screams came from the room again, but before Sheila could cover them with music, the roar of the convoy could already be heard outside. The gang leader arrived and sent someone to smash the door, take the man to the street, and beat him in front of everyone, then leave directly and leave him for Gangu to handle.
मेरे हक के पैसे दे!
Gangu announced a complete victory, which completely crushed Sheila's body and mind. Soon after, the woman who had been devoted to money for a lifetime held on to her money and left, while the women found Gangu and handed her a snow-white sari. This is not just a symbol of identity, but also implies greater responsibility. From this day on, 27-year-old Gangu put on a solemn white veil and became the respected wife, Madame Gangubai. The man suspected his wife of cheating. He knocked her to the ground, grabbed her hair, and threw her down the stairs. Watching her fall, he turned and left. Drew was utterly disappointed in her husband. When Drew woke up, she was at the hospital. The doctor told her the baby was lost. She completely broke down. Drew got up, looked out the window, then walked out of the hospital. This time, she was going to get revenge for herself. Back home, Drew drugged her husband with sleeping pills and called her mother.
फील्डिंग बहुत हो गई अम्मी.